what Barstool Sports can teach you about investing. So some of you may wonder, what is Barstool Sports? So Barstool Sports is this sort of edgy sports news website. If you're familiar with Deadspin or ESPN, if you're familiar with ESPN, Barstool Sports is kind of like an edgier version of that. It's even a more edgier version of Deadspin. So they cover sports, and this website is very interesting because it could actually teach you something about investing. So what am I talking about? Well, recently Barstool Sports acquired something called Rough and Rowdy Brawl. And it's basically what they acquired was an amateur boxing league in West Virginia. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what kind of investment is investing in amateur boxing in West Virginia? Well, the first thing they did was they rebranded this and they called it the Rough and Rowdy Brawl. And they turned it into what's essentially a hybrid between boxing matches and WWE and UFC. And it may, when you think about amateur boxing, you're probably thinking of something that's not very watchable. What Barstool Sports did was they saw an opportunity here. They saw this amateur boxing league in West Virginia where the quality of boxing may not have been great, but there was passion around the crowd who would watch the boxing match, because in this area of West Virginia there aren't a lot of entertainment options, so the audience was really into it. And what Barstool Sports did was they took their sort of their ability to be sort of creative with covering sports. They took that into this Rough and Rowdy Brawl concept and really played up storylines. So, if you look online, you could actually look at the Rough and Rowdy Brawl 2 and 3. They've had so far, as of the time I'm making this video, 3 events, and they've actually been pretty successful so far. And what they've done now with the Rough and Rowdy brand is they've played up the sort of the competition and the comedy of it. In fact, they've had employees at Barstool Sports fight each other at these boxing events. So let's just talk hard numbers since we're talking about investing here. Barstool Sports has been able to sell thousands of pay-per-view sales for people to watch amateur boxing from West Virginia. Now, this is not Mayweather-McGregor numbers, but still, in their last event for Rough and Rowdy Brawl 3, they had sold 41,000 pay-per-view sales. And these people paid anywhere from $9.99 to $15.99, and that event, just on pay-per-view sales, generated $550,000. And this is just basically, there was not a lot of production here. It was shot in West Virginia in a relatively intimate setting. And additionally, Rough and Rowdy Brawl had Bill Burr, who's one of the biggest comedians in the world, attend Rough and Rowdy Brawl 3 as a commentator. So this is really catching on, and I predict that this Rough and Rowdy Brawl concept is going to be really, really big, because I'm only into boxing. I'm not like a boxing fan. I'm only into boxing when there are big events. If there's like a Gennady Golovkin fight or whatever, something that, yeah, I would say I'm like a casual boxing fan, but I'm really into this because the boxing is actually really intense. These guys, they don't have the best fighting skills at all, but they're really trying to beat the crap out of each other, and it's really entertaining. So I'm going to leave a link to a Rough and Rowdy Brawl event so you can watch for yourself, and I guarantee you're probably going to get hooked on it. So how does this apply to you? How do you take what Barstool Sports did with buying amateur boxing in West Virginia and apply it in your life? Barstool Sports, being this sort of edgy sports website, you would think they don't have huge potential beyond trying to be the next Deadspin. But what they did have is this ability to take sports, something that people that some people cannot really cover in an entertaining way, and cover it in an entertaining way. And they found this opportunity to take something that most people would overlook and turn it into something cool using their expertise. So in your life, if you're an expert in something and you see an opportunity that other people would ignore, you should grasp onto that opportunity and capitalize on it. So let's just say, for instance, you know something about music. Maybe you like to mess around with electronic music and put tracks up on SoundCloud. You could probably, do something where you could teach people how to put together a track and put it up on SoundCloud. There are a lot of people who want to learn music and they have no ability. They don't even know what program to use. They wouldn't even know how to upload on SoundCloud or anything like that. And if you took that expertise, that little bit of expertise you have, and start teaching people, you could turn that into a lucrative business. If you know how to draw, you can teach people how to draw. I mean, YouTube is a very visual sort of medium, and you could do drawing videos and then sell courses on how to draw. You can definitely find something that you're a little better at that than everybody else, and then find an opportunity to capitalize on that, the way Barstool Sports did with Rough and Rowdy Brawl. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found some value in it, and I definitely encourage you to check out the link that I'm going to put to a Rough and Rowdy Brawl fight, because it is definitely worth watching. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.